and welcome back to Once Upon a Van Life. Today we're here to tell you about our trip over to the Sunshine Coast in BC. So we spent a bit of time at Gibsons and then went up the coast. We saw Roberts Creek and Sechelt and then took the ferry from Earls Cove and Powell River over to Vancouver
Super
Island.
rad. Super
Awesome
rad.
area, and that's coming up next.
All right, so the next part of our trip up to the Sunshine Coast started on a very rainy Sunday morning. We had to take a ferry from Horseshoe Bay, which is just north of Vancouver, and yeah, it was about half an hour.
It
so
was
it's
short.
Not too bad, but Velma got on the ferry and we headed over to Gibsons, where we had an Airbnb for all of February, and it was just beautiful. This little Airbnb that was just in the bottom of a house, and just had one bedroom and a kitchen, but it was a perfect spot for us, babe?
Oh, it was literally a stone's throw from the ocean. We were one street up from downtown and the harbor. Like the whole marina was there, and restaurants and coffee shops. There was this market we'd go get bread at every Wednesday. Just fantastic. What a beautiful little area.
Yeah, the little downtown of Gibsons just built it's on a kind of in a hill, but it's on the bay there, and it was, you could see mountains and lots of places to walk. Like we walked every day, probably like 3 times a day, once downtown at least, just like walking along the harbor and seeing all the boats and the mountains. Just the view is just amazing, babe?
Yeah, there was so much to see. Like there was hiking to do, there was beaches everywhere. There were 2 little beaches that were like kind of private ones for the neighborhood, which were spectacular, other than these really steep staircases you had to go down. Oh, just so amazing. You're just looking out at the ocean. Basically, like Vancouver Island is what you were looking at on the other side. And right downtown, there was shopping. There was, like I said, there was markets, coffee shops. There was 2 coffee shops called the Beachcombers, which was after the TV show that got filmed there. If anybody remembers that, I think it was back in like the 70s, 80s.
Yeah, so we definitely didn't watch it.
I didn't even see it,
like
but lots
5
of
people
people
told
talked
us,
about it. And Molly's Reach, which was the bar they always went to, is still there right beside the marina. So if you're interested in that, something else to see while you're there. But what a great little town. We'd move there in a heartbeat if our pockets were a bit deeper. Like I said, you're looking at probably 800 to 1.5 million just for a family-sized house. Like,
but it's
bedrooms.
so amazing there because it's like February, and like I think we saw snow once.
Yeah, flurries,
not
not
to rub
even
it
on
in,
the ground.
but it's like February, and like it's beautiful. Like there
plus
was
10, plus 8.
It did rain, but like it was a good. There was times where it just rain for like the morning, and then the afternoon. It was beautiful, right?
And you can tell the temperature is different, like coming from Ontario and across the prairies, which you heard about in our last video. Like there's palm trees and bamboo growing, ferns everywhere, holly, like all these plants that you don't see, and well, at least we haven't seen in any other part of Canada yet. Which was, it almost made you feel like you were somewhere else, like you weren't in Canada.
And there was there was those 2 beaches that we walked pretty much every day, but then there was this another bigger beach that was just like down this like long road from where we were. Like you go like on this little coastal road, and it's just this like really long rocky beach, but it's just beautiful. Like it just felt so surreal. Like you're like, it's February right now and I'm walking on the beach. Like it's just beautiful.
It was a great choice. Definitely a great place to vacation. You could spend a week in just Gibsons, let alone the coast. No problem at all. And we did go on one really good hike, like right in the city. It was suggested by a coworker, well, past coworker of mine now, because she has a brother who lives there, and it was called Psalms Hill. And she did warn me there was stairs. There was several hundred stairs.
There's like a little path that you go through, and like you're in this forest, all these giant trees, classic BC, right? But then, you go up these like 100 stairs, which with him, it's a little tricky, but it was fine.
The dog's getting really good at little tiny staircases.
But once you get up there, holy cow, the view was amazing. Like you could see Vancouver Island, all the mountains. You look down at Gibson.
Harbor, like it's kind of like a U shape, and you could see all of the harbor. Lovely. Highly recommend Psalms Hill if you are in Gibson.
So we just hiked up, I guess it's kind of a mountain, but really big hill. In, what is it, Psalms Hill Park or something?
Psalms Hill Park.
And that's Gibson down there where we're staying at our Airbnb. And all the way across there you can see mountains. That's Vancouver Island over there. Amazing. Right? Right?
Hendrix loves it.
Yeah. I know it sounds like he's whining, but he actually likes it.
He likes to communicate.
Right? Beautiful.
So next up the coast from Gibsons is a little place called Roberts Creek, and although it's just a blip on the map, it is got a lot to offer for sure. Someone told me that it's one of the most condensed area of artisans for one, so there's all sorts of painters and glass blowers and jewelry makers and all sorts of stuff. But also on the way from Gibsons to Roberts Creek, there's a really nice place called Sunday Cider.
Yep.
Funny enough, they're not open
and they're
Sundays,
not open on Sundays,
which we thought
yeah.
was really funny.
But I mean, maybe that's the joke, right? It's cool too because it's like all local, like apples and fruit, whatever they make for their
really,
cider.
really delicious.
We didn't actually go and sit there and have a drink, but you could bring the dog. There's like a big, wide open kind of like patio area.
Yeah, with like picnic tables and stuff.
Definitely check that out.
And like some swings in a tree for the kids, and they let us sample, even though we were just there to buy a couple of bottles and leave. Most of it's sold in like wine bottle size, but really, really good if you're going up the highway anyway. And then you get to Roberts Creek, and we did two things in Roberts Creek. There was a trail that we actually hiked twice. It was so beautiful. It was called Cliff Gilker Park, I think.
Park, yeah.
Cliff Gilker Park. And oh my God, waterfalls and just this beautiful river. Everything is covered in this thick, thick moss. I actually said to Josh, it reminds me of the Grinch. Like the way his fur was, unreal
just
beauty.
Like this like little like river going and like river stream in a little gorge, and it's just going through the park, and like you just walk through that, and there's trees falling down, but like every tree's massive, you know what I mean? It's so big, right?
It was the first time we'd seen some really, really big old growth trees, like ones, stumps and trees the size of your dinner table, right? And again, coming from like central Canada, we hadn't seen anything that big in our lives before. So that was kind of our first taste of that. And really unassuming, you pull in and it's just like a baseball diamond and some public benches, and you don't really think it's like anything outstanding.
No.
But yeah,
And
once
when
you
you
get
walk,
down the river, it is beautiful.
Awesome, yeah.
We have so many photos, so we'll make sure lots of those are in there.
And then a little down the road there, there's this amazing like beach with like a walkway that
a boardwalk almost.
Yeah, a boardwalk that we must have went like probably
every week at least.
At least I would say almost 6 or 7 times. Like I'm not even kidding. It was like rocky beach, and you could like
free parking. You just park right off the strip.
When the tide was down, you could like walk out to this one area that like.
Couple of 100 feet out on the sand.
Yeah, it was very cool. It was so beautiful. You could see Vancouver Island and ships going in and out, and basically
the ferries,
it's the ocean.
Yeah, and there was a little pier where you could go, and sometimes there'd be people like throwing like crab nets over. You could do that from there, and just really cool, really, really beautiful little area. And there was a couple of nice bars and restaurants. We actually didn't go to any of them, but we thought about it a few times. Weather just never permitted for us. But Roberts Creek, wonderful little area as well.
Alright, so we just went on this random hike, this place I just Googled, and man is it nice in here. This is like the epitome of British Columbia forests. Like the waterfall, it just checks us out forever. Giant trees, eh, Vane?
Hi guys, yeah, it's like Fern Gully.
Hi guys. Every tree is like 200-300 feet. Insanity.
All right, so just down the road there from Roberts Creek is Sechelt, and it is a super nice little, bigger town than Gibson. Had a bit bigger of a grocery store and a little more shops.
Stores,
a little more shops and like thrifting, and
had like your McDonald's and your Tim Hortons and all those sorts of places.
But once again, you can just see mountains everywhere. Like BC is just, the mountains just surround every
Yeah.
place that you go
And
to.
everywhere
It's
has
amazing.
a beach.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful beach again in Sechelt that you could walk. They had a really lovely like walkway and a pier again. And also, like Josh said, some thrifting. So there was 2 thrift stores downtown and a Habitat for Humanity restore that had some really, they basically had everything but clothing. We were a little bit jealous we hadn't bought our house yet because they had absolutely everything you needed to redo a house, from appliances to patio stones. It was awesome. Yeah, and that's where we went to get our dog food. They had Pet Value, and they had, just really good shopping. So if you need to go and shop, that was kind of the place on the coast to go. So when we left our Airbnb on February 28th, here, it was a lovely place and we loved Gibsons. We headed up the coast because we wanted to go to Vancouver Island next, and we had to drive up to a place called Earl's Cove, which was past Sechelt all the way up. It was about an hour and 20 minutes going up the coast, and you take a ferry over there, and that was free actually, from Earl's Cove to a place called Powell River where we spent the night. And again, kind of a rainy, overcast day. We tend to take the ferries a lot on those sorts of days, but that's okay. What else are you supposed to do?
The drive is awesome though. You like kind of go up the coast and you're going up these windy roads, but you're like, once again, mountains and
right
the
on
ocean,
the ocean,
and
it's
breathtaking,
really nice. So we took the ferry over to Powell River, and first Walmart we'd seen in over a month. It was the smallest Walmart I've ever seen in my entire life, but we stayed there. That was great. Did a little bit of a restock before we got over to the island and bought some stuff, and then the only thing we really did was go to a brewery in Powell River. And for that story, you're gonna have to wait for the story from the road. So, as usual, we're going to end today's video with a story from the road. And this week's story from the road is a little bit different. It's about some random acts of kindness that happened to us. And in this COVID world these days, we like to share random acts of kindness. And it wasn't things that we did, it was things that other people did for us, which was really cool. So we told you briefly about how we spent one night in Powell River just waiting for our ferry over to Vancouver Island the next morning. And there wasn't a lot to do because, again, the weather was a little iffy. It looked like it was going to rain at any time. So we found a brewery. Right? Perfect place. The dog was having a snooze in the van, and we went in and we just got a couple of pints, and I have a few photos I can throw into the brewery. Really cute little place. But at the table next to us, there was a couple, and they were like in their 60s, early 70s, and they'd caught my eye because they had sushi and Yahtzee, and I was like, that's the way to go to a brewery. I was a little bit jealous. It was like 4 o'clock. I was getting hungry. So we ended up chatting with them and just telling them about what we were doing. And the gentleman had told us he always wanted to do this in a van, but he didn't know at his age if that was a reality anymore. We encouraged them just to get a van and hit the road. But anyway, and they left. We had given them a sticker. We have stickers for our YouTube channel, and off they went. And we didn't really think anything of it until the waitress came over and said, can I get you guys another round? And we said, no. Josh is driving, obviously, so he's just having a beer. And we said, we'll just take the bill. And she told us that actually that gentleman had paid our bill. So he bought our beers, which was 4 beers total, and just didn't even say anything, just paid and left. And I made a joke, bring me another round then, but we were just kidding. And what a lovely thing, just because we chatted up this couple and had a nice little conversation. So that was our first act of random kindness, sorry. And Josh is going to tell you about the next one.
And the second thing that happened to us, so 2 days before we left Gibson, we were driving, and a stone came up and hit the windshield and left like a little crack in the window. It was a pretty good little spider. And we were like, of course, this is our house, so we try and take care of stuff immediately when stuff like that happens. But we knew we were leaving in a couple days, so coming over to Vancouver Island, so we were like, okay, we know we're probably going to be in Nanaimo at some point, so we booked with Speedy Glass in downtown Nanaimo, and we
thumbs up to them. That's all I can say.
We went and it was actually a nice day. We went and we dropped the van off. We get out everybody loves this guy, of course. And the guy's okay, like, come back in 45 minutes. So we go, we walk.
Got coffee, of course,
Right.
downtown.
Come back, and the guy's like, all right, it's all ready. Gives me the keys. He's like, all right, you guys are good to go. And I'm like, okay, just got to pay. He's like, no, just do it for free. And we're like, what? And we're like,
He's
no.
like, yeah, don't worry about it. You
we'll
guys
pay.
are awesome.
Yeah. And we were just kind of blown away. So we just get in the van, and we're like, wow, that's 2 random acts of kindness in like a span of a week of people just being good people, which is awesome.
And
Good to
sometimes
see.
the insurance will cover those things for you, but like he didn't even care. He's like, no,
Yeah.
it's on us.
Yeah.
Have a nice trip. Enjoy your travels. It
Yeah.
was so lovely.
It was very cool. It felt good, you know, just being out here and just being accepted by the people here. Obviously, they knew we're not from here, and people just being kind. So, you know, and that was another couple story from the road.
Well, folks, that's all we've got for you this time around. I hope you enjoyed our adventures from Gibsons and the Sunshine Coast. Like, subscribe, click the little bell so you get a notification. And if you're watching this and you haven't seen our other videos, jump back now, because I think we've got almost 10 up there. And you can see us travel all the way from Nova Scotia, tip of Nova Scotia, PEI, and Cape Breton, all the way out to the other side of BC. So check that out. Thanks a lot.
Peace.